I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm LaWanda.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And we have guest spotters with us today. Everyone, give your name and city.
Nita the Diva from DC.
I'm McCasey from the Buckeye State, Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
OHIO.
I am Ryan from Burbank, California.
And I'm Regan from Fort Worth, Texas.
All right. So we are here today to just have a general conversation about Force so far. So if you guys hang tight, we'll be right back. Back and we have our guests on to give us their thoughts on Force so far. We have just finished up our interview with Isaac Keys, who plays Diamond on the show, and he gave us some insight about his character. So now we're just here to have like a general discussion of things that have gone down so far. How you guys feeling about the season and what's been going down?
I'll go. I think it's always good to talk to the actors to get their kind of input and what their thoughts are about the character, because, we see the performance and we read it a lot of different ways. So I think his information was really good about how to look at him and how to kind of view his and Diamond's and Jannard's relationship. So I think once they see the interview, maybe they'll have different thoughts and it'll change their perspective on the show.
Yeah. So how are you guys feeling, our guests? Are you guys feeling any kind of way about things that have gone down? I know there's been a lot so far, and especially with now that Tommy has split from the CBI and Vic crew, everybody's kind of doing their own thing again. Been a lot of casualties.
Well, I feel. What'd you say?
Said just like the streets.
Just like the streets.
When they captivated the street life was beautiful, man, in the entire show. I think for me is I'm one of the type of person, guys that'll sit there and actually think of every possible situation that can come out of it. So I guess for me, I'd be so intrigued because I'd be sitting here telling people like, watch, this gonna happen next show. And then if it does happen, I'll be like so happy. And if it don't, I'll be like, I was wrong. So I just try my best to just keep my composure because it's very emotional watching the show. It's a great show.
Yeah,
it is. What are some of your predictions though? Do you have any that you have for the remaining of the season that you kind of can name off top?
I don't wanna guess today because I'm gonna be like, oh my God.
I mean, listen, we can't all know the answers and stuff. I know I made some predictions and some were right and some were wrong. So I mean, we're not in the writer's room, so ain't nothing wrong with taking a guess.
Right. I know one of our big predictions was about this new Adrian chick and her being she's a reporter, but we're suspecting that she might be working with Seamus, the cop.
She's not.
I'm like this, man. Never bring the girl to the spot. So when you in that type of game, you really supposed to not bring her in because most women, no offense, but in that type of profession, you got some who are really strong and who can actually teach you and help you. And it can sometimes be for the better of the situation, but sometimes it can be for the worse. So it's just me getting to know her character, just tad bit more for me to be like, okay, she out, or she might actually help.
I think she out.
Yeah, my thing is when you're in the game like that, and you're dealing with drugs, you got this whole thing going. I'm sorry, I can't get my heart involved. because
No.
that becomes a weakness. You know, if with me, you know, now don't think that this is my character because this is not me, but what I'm saying is if I were in that situation, you know, it's
Ryan working for the streets.
No, it's a hit it and quit it type thing. I can't get my heart involved with that, you know. Now I know Tiffany has said, and to every degree, it's true, women are an aphrodisiac to men, and we tend to fall prey to them. But you got to understand your situation. You know,
He said what I said.
No,
I understand what I said. It's been 15 years.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's the revealing the back cave. That's my only issue. Is revealing the back cave.
Yeah, my thing is
you gotta be able to lay your head down at night.
My thing is, no, believe me, she's fine. Hit it. But then when you hit it, quit it. Because I'm trying to say, you can't have that attachment because she becomes, you know, it's an Achilles heel to you. So if your enemy knows that, you know, y'all are dating and they grab her as a man, you know, you're going to want to save her, and that's going to put your life in jeopardy.
Yeah, we seen that with Tommy already.
You know, exactly. And Tommy has just been lucky. But you know, how many times can you call on Lady Luck to get you out of a bad situation?
Not too many times, because you know women become a chess piece in that type of game. So you know, you try your best to keep your woman and your family out of it at all times. When you start to involve them, man, it becomes a disaster. So
it is all the time.
Yeah, and everybody. Oh, go ahead, Casey. No, go ahead.
I agree with you guys. I was saying that was one of the things that I think is they've done so well to try to spin Tommy off, because we're so used to Tommy always having somebody have his back, right? Like Ghost or, you know, and in this time around, it's like he's pretty much by himself. He got to figure out how to navigate and who's going to end up having his back. So it was one of the things that I struggled in the beginning, but the way they kind of spun it around, I think it's, you know, I think, so I completely agree with you guys in that sense. It's just him trying to figure out who has his back and who doesn't. Yeah.
And I was going to ask you guys, like, how are y'all feeling about Liliana? Because she keeps wanting to hang around, and Tommy has tried so many times to ask her, but she's like the little sister that just want to tag along everywhere.
I like their relationship. I was pretty surprised. I was surprised when they brought her on. I was like, oh, at first I was like, oh, she's the character. I was like, cool. But then as it grew along, I was like, I actually like their relationship. Like where it came from, like him wanting to kill her. Now he's like wanting to save her. It's like funny of Tommy to like look at her little sister. I personally like her character. She's kind of like one of my favorites out of everybody else, besides Tommy. Since she's an OG. So
she's hard-headed, but she is a G.
Yeah, she's a G.
She's a G. I do like her, and I like the banter between them. And you know, I think I said it in one of our recaps. The fact that she's also from New York, like she is like one of the last connections to New York. So you know, Tommy. Well, now he does have JP, but for the most part, he was alone. So I do like their relationship.
Yeah, she's a huge liability though, but she's
Thank you. Where's my
That's
sign?
Ron's issue.
I had a sign somewhere that said liability. I wanted to hold it up. Liability. That's what she is. She's a huge liability. I mean, look, I like her, as you said, but I think her time is up because of the fact that you can't trust what she'll do. When you got somebody that's, you know, cutting drugs, you know, mixing, a chemist, but they're using at the same time, like we saw in that scene, you're vulnerable. And now the Serbs know where Tommy lives. So he's going to have to move. And they know where he lives because of that. So how many times can you go through that with her? And, you know, until she's completely on board. And I don't know if her character will allow that. I don't know if she's made up to be on board like that, because she's been by herself for so long.
He had to learn patience, because Ghost had to have patience with him too.
But that's true.
Because he was doing a lot.
We already have seen that patience, learning or teaching patience or getting someone up to speed with patience, you ain't got time for that.
No.
Because your days are numbered. Every time you got somebody like her that's willing to go outside the box and do something that you already explained to her explicitly you can't do. If you tell her to stay in and she goes out, or she's hitting that, she's hitting her drum.
Tommy should be doing the same thing with Ghost. I mean,
yeah, I don't think she's going anywhere. I don't think she's going anywhere. Only because like the way she was asking about like how this drug is made and the chemist, I think the chemist is gonna get killed and she's gonna take over. Like that's like she's gonna working closely with her. And she's gonna,
I think
somebody better put a plug up her nose because she can't be. You can't do this.
He's funny, man. He real, but he's funny.
It's true though, and I just thought about from Claudia's perspective, because I thought about it after the show, and I was like, she introduced Tommy to the chemist. So if Tommy ever wanted to cut her out and work with the chemist directly, he could do that now. He doesn't really need Claudia.
There's a point.
Or you can kill the chemist and just have Liliana drugs, and then he just had the whole thing to himself.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing stopping him from doing that.
Except for the possible blowback from the Flint.
But they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Claudia's.
You're right. That's right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like she really set herself up for that. I don't know about Claudia's maneuverability in this game. She's still very green, and it was easy for her to get slapped up, this past episode. So I think her days are numbered. And then, like, what did you guys think about the locker situation? Because we've seen that in PowerBook too.
Right. Well, you know what? Some of our spotters reminded us in the comments that Ghost and Tommy did do that. When they had the things planted all around the city. And I forgot all about that. Like they had guns, drugs, and stuff. So they Ghost and Tommy did do that in the original Power. So we misspoke when we said, it did remind us of Ghost too, but apparently Ghost and Tommy did it first.
Yeah, because Tariq, Tasha told Tariq to go to one of those
spots sure did.
In season
Tasha told Tariq, yep.
She did. She did.
Well, thank y'all for refreshing our memory.
Yep.
But I guess in this scenario, do you think it can work in Chicago? With that being like a completely different environment, and with it being in kind of like this secure building with the security guards and the cameras and stuff like that.
Tommy can do it, cleaned up and stuff.
They can switch it up though. They can use that concept, but switch it up and not always use the same place, because people are more likely to figure out a pattern, even though it's a lot of people coming in and out.
And look, I don't
terrain, right? He's not familiar with that. He's not familiar with Chicago like that, so it's actually in his best interest to do that.
But then again, I'm not hating on security guards, but they make $7 an hour, $5 an hour. They ain't trying to stop much of anything.
Security guards don't make that. Sheesh.
Yeah, I know. Look, I know a few that's making $5, $7 an hour. Look, even if you take them up to $15 an hour, ain't nobody trying to get involved with all that.
Well, he done already bought one of the guy that was doing Claudia's, like her middleman, her guy that was making the drops. Tommy has already bribed him, so I guess it wouldn't be hard to bribe a few other low.
Give them a stack. Give them a stack and watch what happens.
Yeah, true. They did ask him for crypto advice.
Yeah, exactly. They sitting there. Yeah, you got any crypto advice? Yeah, get out of it. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, but overall, I think I'm enjoying how Force is shaping up and the characters, because a lot of the first season, and we've seen this a lot in the Power universe, how the first season is kind of like an introductory season, and we get a lot of backstory on some of the new characters, and we've seen that with PowerBook II, how they set us up with Monet and her family, and then by season 2 it like took off, and it was like all action from there.
Agreed.
So I'm thinking it'll be something similar with Force 2, because some people say it's like kind of slow and it's not what they're expecting from like a Tommy show, which I disagree. I think it's been very true to Tommy and his nature, and we're seeing a more mature Tommy, a more thoughtful Tommy, not just the haphazard one that was constantly shoot first, ask questions later.
Christmas. He was canceling Christmas on everybody.
On everybody.
Yeah, I think we're beginning to see a better dimension, more dimension with Tommy. I think the first few episodes, it was very one-dimensional. So you could grow tired of that very quickly. But what we're seeing now with the emergence of Claudia, we have Lillian, you know, so and we see that Tommy is building relationships outside of you know, just being himself. So it's becoming more three-dimensional, and that's something to kind of get more into, you know.
Okay, so the last thing I'll ask y'all, JP, how are we feeling? He wants to get in the game, and Tommy is putting him on the sideline, telling him no.
I don't want him in the game because you know, I don't want something to happen to him. You know, he already lost Ghost, and if something happened to JP, that'll really devastate him. So I don't want him in the game.
But JP is in a tight spot, and he needs the money.
And Tommy needs to keep breaking him off or whatever, but don't let him in the game.
But he's a proud dude, so you know he doesn't want to take money. You know, and that's a problem. It's definitely a problem. Maybe you can find him I don't know, like you remember, I don't know, y'all are too young to know remember anything about running numbers. But you know, Tiffany, you too young to know anything about that. You don't remember running numbers.
Listen, at least we watched Godfather Harlem. We know.
Yeah, okay.
You know, a little something. You know, a little something.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say what I know because I know it a little deeper than that. But anyways, you know, maybe you can find him a little something to do, and you know,
you can like clean the money through his business.
Right. Yeah, you know, the business. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, but he's so protective of it because it's his dad. It was his dad's dream, and then we found out, and so
he got to save the dream now.
And if he wants in the game, that's a safe way to do it.
Safe
It could be kind of like how Gloria is. Gloria is like the front for Flynn's illegal activity. Her bar.
Yeah, that would be a good way to do it, especially if nobody knows the relationship, so they'll have no reason to ever look at the bar to think that.
Does he bring his dad in on it though? Because you know, I don't think his dad would approve it. So.
No, Dad can't know.
No, because he already side-eyeing Tommy, so he'll be like, "Oh, see, I knew he was some trash."
Exactly.
Like his mom. Yeah.
Okay, so
what do you think, Nita? What do you think, Nita? I haven't had a chance to.
Oh yeah. I was as far as Liliana is concerned, I was like, that girl got 9 lives like a cat. Yes, and I think she's used at least about 6 of them. So she might be on her way out, like Ron said.
Yeah, she might be. She might be.
Go.
Yeah.
He might be. He want her to go.
Because she's quite reckless, you know, kind of, you know, she doesn't really think. Sometimes she does. She has that part about her, but for some reason, that other part of her just kind of wars with her, and she's just kind of.
I think it's youth or something. You know,
invincible.
Y'all gonna find her. Y'all gonna find her in the corner in the chemistry lab singing the Negro anthem because she's so hot. I'm trying to tell you, y'all get her out. Get her out.
But is that similar to like her being a hothead to similar to like what Tommy wants to Ghost? Like
that's what I'm saying. Like why?
Not the same though, because Tommy was basically muscle for Ghost, and
he was a hothead.
No, he was
the same. Yeah, he was reckless. He was reckless sometimes.
He was reckless, but he was muscle. Lillian is not that. She
can be muscle.
She muscle. She stabbed that guy.
Or she take a beat. I know
that. Yeah.
She keeps snorting. She ain't gonna be doing much of anything.
I mean, snorting too.
What?
They all snorting.
Right. She's just testing the product too. She's just like
test the product. Get a pig or something. Test the product some other kind of way. But if you keep snorting that stuff, because you know, here's the other thing. You really don't know the long run with that product, that new product. I mean, it hits you so intently like that, you don't know what the long game is with that product.
Right.
You know, so you keep hitting that product and you may find yourself comatose.
Right.
That's interesting you say that, because Diamond was we just had that conversation about him getting in trouble because there was a bad batch on the street.
Right.
So that could be an interesting twist if something went wrong, like, they're trying to figure out the chemistry or something happens to the chemist and then they don't get it quite right and they have
Right.
That would be
That's why
overdose.
they need to keep the chemist. They really need to keep.
They really, right. They need to keep the chemist.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, I like that, LaWanda. That's a good plot twist.
It is. It'd be like another Kanan.
Yeah.
I have one more question for you guys.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Isaac this, but I was just wondering about Diamond and Tommy's relationship and the fact that he kind of left him hanging out there. Do you think this is just business, or do you think he's going to take it a little bit more personal and be like, kind of keep him at arm's length because he don't he broke kind of like the bond that they were kind of building?
He breached it, but I think he understands that Jannard influences Diamond just a little bit. Like, we know what the real draw was. Like, Jannard was the one that had the problem, and because Diamond is kind of torn between his family and like his friendship with Tommy or whatever he want to call it, I think he feels like he has a stronger loyalty to family. And considering that Jannard had just lost Elijah, he's probably like, I'm getting people killed now. Like, and we know he's having this moral conflict with himself. So I think he's like, I just got to leave this alone.
And so Tommy will have no hard feelings.
I don't think it's about business. Tommy is about business. Like Tommy has always said, it's about business.
It is, but he still might have a little, because when they showed the previews for next week and Diamond was trying to question him about Dahlia, and he was like, something, and he was like, I might have seen it and stuff, but he seemed like he was playing coy with Diamond. Like he wasn't necessarily trying to tell him what was up. So I don't know. He might keep him at bay. Like he might still be cool with him.
Yeah.
But I think he's still going,
Right.
Yeah, they may have to start over, like, kind of.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the road, they still need each other. So, and that'll be.
And I think they genuinely like each other.
No, I think so.
I think there is like a bond between the two of them, that's been interrupted. We'll see if they can get it back.
Yeah.
Let's not forget though, Tommy almost threw Tariq over the wall. He don't care out there.
You're right. You're right. But
he was trying to scare
really,
Tariq.
like,
I think trying to scare Tariq. He wasn't going to do that for real. He just
even when Tariq shot Ghost, right? Ghost was the one that stopped him. He could have shot Tariq.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know what? In that moment, he probably deserved to shoot Tariq. When he came in there and saw him, he was like, "What?"
Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking. You gotta like really violate Tommy for him to like react strongly.
Absolutely. And the thing is, he still lives by a code, because if it wasn't for the fact that Ghost told him no, leave it alone, Tariq would be dead. Yeah. And he still has not done anything to Tariq because Ghost told him not to.
Well, he almost did.
He said it.
He wanted to. We know he wanted to.
He almost said Monet wasn't there that night. He probably would have blasted Tariq.
Well, he snatched him up. Yeah, he might have, but he snatched him up, and he just was like, "Listen, the only reason why I'm not doing nothing is because your father, your pops."
That's true.
Yeah. The only other thing that I think could be the wild card this season is the relationship with JP and his son. Because we still don't know which way that's gonna go, whether he takes, JP back in and they build a bond, or whether this complicates the situation and the beef between Jannard and Tommy.
Oh, it's gonna be a complication for sure. Especially if they find out before something happens. Because I'm scared, there's usually no happy endings on this show. So I'm wondering, is it gonna be revealed before somebody dies, or if it comes out, like, I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I think Gloria's gonna die.
You think Gloria's gonna die?
Yeah. Speaking of Gloria, did y'all notice the way she pulled out that gun in the last week's
She was in the
episode?
military, though. She said that in the first or second episode. She was in the military.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think overall, we had a good discussion. Y'all have a lot of good input. Definitely feeling LaWanda's theory. I'm gonna be on the lookout for that now.
Well, I think it's true. I mean, you know, which is why the chemist has got to stay. If they make a mistake and kill the chemist and put Lillian in, I mean, you might as well go to McDonald's and get that drug. I mean,
and actually, I think that drug needs to be toned down a bit, and so you need the chemist for that. It is too potent, and you know, it's you need.
I agree with you because it looks like everybody always looks like they're about to go into cardiac arrest when they do that drug, and I'm like, ooh, I'm just waiting for somebody to overdose or something.
Yeah.
50 Cent got us all watching these Power becoming experts in
Right.
Don't be surprised if you see it on the street.
Look, don't get no ideas.
Yeah, not me.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to join us for the Isaac Keys interview and for this post-show discussion. Yeah, this roundtable. So we appreciate you guys, and I love how you guys support us. We appreciate you, and I hope you feel the love back in return because we love you guys as well.
We appreciate y'all too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Regan, you gotta unmute.
You gotta unmute, Regan.
Oh, I've been talking. I didn't know I was on mute. I just want to thank y'all. This was, hey, it has been a great show, and thank y'all. Great cast as well. Y'all are great cast.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all had some interesting questions, and I'm over here blown away. I'm like, I ain't asking enough questions. I ain't asking them right neither. So man, y'all keep doing it. And I definitely enjoyed it.
Well, it's all good. You guys are welcome back anytime. So thank you
I love the interaction with Juan and Tiffany all the time, and then Pierre and Lawanda be like, "Okay, let's bring it."
You know what? We got backstory because I know Tiffany for over. Well, it's been about 20 years now, close to 20 years. Yeah, so we worked together for a long period of time, and even when we were constructing this thing, you know, we knew that it had to be a point counterpoint. And you know, and Tiffany got a lot to say. Y'all know Tiffany got a lot to say.
Well, I was about to say it's a natural, you know, cats and dog thing. But
It's a natural back and forth.
And me and Lawanda are like, flag on the play.
Gotta keep two refs. Gotta keep two refs.
That's why Tiffany be saying that. That's all it is about.
No, but she's a sister. She's my real sister. You know,
that's good.
I got her back.
That's love.
It's good.
Yeah, it's all love. It's all love.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say thanks again to all the viewers out there. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the like button and the notification bell so that you get alerted when we post. Drop down in the comments and let us know your thoughts about our roundtable discussion, and throw out any predictions you guys have as well. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out that Isaac Keys interview. He's playing Diamond on Force, so he gave us a lot of gems, a lot of good conversation. So make sure you check that out. It's definitely one you don't want to miss.
Yeah, he had good energy.
Very good energy.
Yeah. Great energy.
Awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
So I think we are going to call it a night. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Follow me on Instagram, Loco Rican.
Hello. That's what we gotta do. I'll make sure that we are we still recording?
Yeah.
Still recording.
It's all good. Well, we'll drop y'all handles into the comment section for anybody that wants to follow. Get your followers up.
Get ours up too. That's right.
That's right.
Bye, guys.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
If baby wanna sit, she can sit. If baby says it's lit. Got your bank account and I cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. If baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and I cute. She can make it count. How about you? She would put you in the bag. Wouldn't even need a planet. If she wanted, she a magnet. They should let her name